Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Sometimes, when two people divorce, they will stay in a certain relationship, and sometimes that's called a friends with benefits relationship, which is sometimes they still, get intimate, but they have no, how should I put it, commitments to one another. Usually, and I'm going to use this as a experience, not personal experience. That means I was not involved in such a thing. Usually one of the partners in this kind of relationship extracts some extra favors from the other side by providing sex. Let me give you an example. Let's say the woman provides sex for the man and asks the man to help her move, or ask the man to paint her house, or help her with a loan, or take the kids over there, or do something for her in exchange of sex. So this is, in this case, the woman is like Great Britain. Great Britain and Europe is this kind of relationship of friends with benefits, which goes, by the way, only one way, which is she gets and gets the house painted, helped with moving, and with a mechanic, and whatever she needs. Well, you might say, well, that's his problem. Well, could be, but still she's not a good person, isn't she? I mean, the same when people say, well, if you accept this, then you are stupid. Yeah, but that would not change the fact that the other side is a piece of shit. I mean, yeah, okay, this guy is stupid for doing that, but maybe not stupid. Maybe he says, you know what, I like this kind of relationship. I like the contract. But still, the other person still is what that person, you can say, well, she likes that kind of thing. No, because knowingly, she knows it's, imbalanced. But nevertheless, let's look focus on Great Britain. If you remember, de Gaulle, Charles de Gaulle, the French leader, a guy who was in London and fought the Germans and all that, and then he became the president of France and all that. He said, when he used to deal with his European weasels, he said, remember two things about United States of America and Great Britain. First, the Americans don't live in Europe. He was talking about the Americans and the British interventions in Europe. The Americans don't live in Europe. We live. And the second one, Great Britain, England, whatever, not England, UK isn't an island. They're an island. There's an island. It's separate from our territory here, from the mainland. So if things go bad here, they stay outside. And that's another policy that England or Great Britain had for a long time, and I think it still has it. And that is, make sure you don't have a powerhouse in Europe. That is, you don't have one country that has a hegemony in Europe. You make sure you destroy all that thing. Or the Europeans are getting along, because once the Europeans get along, you're outside. Now, if you remember, Great Britain got out of the European Union, which I personally like that. I liked Nigel Farage. I still do like Nigel Farage. Look for him. And they're out. But they're not out. They're out with responsibilities, but then they somehow come and dictate and get involved in the European issues. So that's friends with benefits. You cannot touch me. No, you can't sleep here overnight. But you painted the house yesterday. No, I'm not going to do this for you. What? We're not married anymore. But then you come and say, hey, how about you? Can you fix my tire here, please? And come on, you're a nice guy. And the guy does it. So this is European Union, and you got the Great Britain. Now, what happened? On the framework of Serbia and its province Kosovo, remember, certain things happened over the weekend. There were some shootings over there in Kosovo, in northern Kosovo, and so on. The Serbs brought their military to their province border, because they can't enter, because NATO decided that they will kill them if they enter their province. Those guys are independent. They voted in the parliament. They decided that they are independent. But hey, those guys in Donbass and the Crimean Peninsula, those referenda mean nothing, because it's a sham referenda. But Kosovo just said, the parliament, we're independent, we decided, for everybody else. Okay, nevertheless, move on. So now NATO confirms 600 British soldiers will be deployed in Kosovo. Why? For the reasons I mentioned at the beginning of this video. The Telegraph. NATO confirms 600 British soldiers. I didn't hear, 600 Polish soldiers. No. Or German soldiers. No, it's almost always British soldiers. Is that a little inferiority complex, a chip on your shoulder or something? I said this before, I don't know if people liked it or not. That's beyond my interest. I'm interested in saying what the hell is going on. It's a fact that Great Britain, after the Second World War, ended up bankrupt and lost. They say they won the war, but they lost the war. So they can thank Mr. Churchill as much as they want. Yeah, he did some good things, but he fucked up many others. He destroyed the British Empire. He was the one with his war. We had to do it, really. Maybe not like that. There were other ways. We'll fight in the landing ground. We'll fight on the beaches, and we'll never surrender. Well, good. You bankrupt your empire. Good job for you. Good job. So, let's read here. Some 600 British soldiers will be deployed in northern Kosovo amid concerns over violence and the build-up of Serbian military in the region, NATO has confirmed. And the Brits jumped into the trenches. It comes as Aleksandar Vučić, Serbia's president, denied reports Belgrade was increasing the number of troops near the Kosovo border, complaining of a campaign of lies and, quote, against his country following a deadly shootout that has fueled tensions between the two countries. What countries? Serbia and Great Britain? Oh, Serbia and the country of Kosovo. Oh shit, my bad. I'm sorry. Whatever. So, Associated Press reporters traveling in the border region of Sunday said they saw several Serbian army transport vehicles driving away towards central Serbia, a sign that the military might be scaling down its presence in the region. Nevertheless, this guy sent 600 soldiers. They get involved in Europe as well. If you remember, they are the biggest supporters, active supporters with the Poles, but the Poles don't really matter. I mean, they matter. That was not the right choice of word, but they matter. But compared with British power and influence and military, I think Poland would be just used as a transit country. It helps very much, I would say, but still you can't put Poland over the Great Britain. Poland was not part of the organizers. Poland is not part of the people sitting at the table. Poland and Great Britain is come and go, at the table. Because on the table is only one, and there is Al Capone. That's it. The rest are not at the table. The rest are down there, like the mimes, like the idiot of the court, like the servants, like Poland over there waiting for this guy to a little piece of a chicken and then throw it over there and he's gonna suck that dry. That's what Poland is. That's what Romania is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not picking on Poland. I'm picking on all these weasel countries. Romania, Bulgaria, Germany, the great country of Germany, France. They pretend they're independent. They're not, because they do everything Al Capone tells them. Tell me when they did something that Al Capone wanted them to do. You tell me. And tell me when United States, Al Capone, did something that, let's say, France wanted them to do. Well, and even if you find one, my point is 1 versus 1,000, I made the point. So, my friends, again, the Brits are in Europe because, Germany cannot figure things out. It's the same thing as happened, and I'm going to mention this again. I know some people are proud of their history, but hey, history is told by the conqueror, by the victor. The problem is it doesn't stop us to look into history from different angles and bring more evidence that will destroy certain names, or not destroy, balance them, because we try to make heroes of people who did great things, but we ignore their crimes, we ignore their downsides, or how do you call it, the ugly part of their character. I can give you a few names. I can give you Martin Luther King. Yeah, he was great, but look what he did with his family, communist connections, and so on. All right, look at his speechwriter. I dare you to look into his speech. I can look into his plagiarism and so on. So that's one, but doesn't take from him doing what he did as a symbol. And yes, judge a person by the character, not by the color of the skin. That's fantastic. I think it's a normal thing, but he said it. On the same page, I can use Nelson Mandela. Yeah, he was imprisoned. Find out why was Nelson Mandela in prison. What were the accusations and what was the conviction? Not because he fought apartheid. It was because someone blew some school buses. What organization? Well, check the organization and see who was in charge of that organization. So again, take, if you want, the peace lover, the Indian, what's his name? Mahatma Gandhi. Again, he slept with some underage girls to test his power. So he's not gonna, okay? And you can check also how he dealt with medication when, antibiotics, when his wife was sick. He said, no, she died when he was sick. So, okay, things are not said. They are over there. They're available. Anyway, you can look at, what's his name, Mahatma Gandhi's view on other races as well, when he was not only in South Africa, where I think he made his breakthrough or something, and many others, okay? So the same here. I'm going to destroy a little bit the Napoleonic period of Great Britain. Remember, Great Britain face to face was always together with an alliance against Napoleon. And you can always see how they maneuvered. If you know about it, they maneuvered other countries, other kingdoms into fighting Napoleon. Why? Because Napoleon was an outsider. Like Putin is an outsider. He's not part of the club. They're not, or China is an outsider. India is an outsider. They're never going to be allowed to be at the table. Why? Because remember, he was a Corsican, Napoleon Bonaparte. He was not from purple blood. He was just a Corsican being emperor. What are you talking about? You're not. No, get the fuck out. And so on. And they put the Bourbons back. Who? If you can believe, the British crown, together with the Prussians, together with the Russians, allies, with Austria. My friends, let's don't fuck around. Anyway, thank you very much for, again, stuck their nose in Europe, even though they were not in Europe. A lot of Brits says, we're not in Europe, we're a little bit outside. Why? Friends with benefits. But it goes only one way. That's the whole garbage. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.